Wednesday, December 4th, 2013. I'm Rim.
I'm Scott.
And this is Geeknights. Tonight, Rumiko Takahashi's Primal Needs.
Oh, gosh.
Part of the...
You say it that way.
Part of the Rumiko Takahashi Anthology. You might have gotten it in your Geeknights box.
Let's do this.
So I wanted to do something that people don't really do anymore. At least not, like, hobbyists don't care about it like they used to back in the day. I wanted to make a webcam.
What do you mean make a webcam? You just get a webcam.
No,
it's like $10.
Yeah, like a 24/7 hosted webcam.
Oh, well, you could just use your Elgato, right? Just hook it up and...
Yeah, I could. So the only way to really do that, the only, like, other than...
Yeah, FiOS. What's the problem?
So where do you host it? Like, there's a lot of options there. Where do you host it? How do you host
Twitch,
it?
YouTube, whatever.
Yeah, so you can theoretically make a YouTube live event...
That never ends.
That never ends. But the practical reality of that, based on my experiences with the Elgato software and the heat that the thing generates over time and everything else, not the best option.
Yep.
And basically, I was looking around because it's hard to search for that. Because if you search for anything related to webcam, you mostly find the software people use to make webcams work, like physical webcams, not to run what you used to call a webcam, which meant a camera pointed to something 24/7 that is on a web page for you to look at.
Well, the thing is, the webcam's like the kind that you're looking for, where it's just anyone can look at it anytime. Most of those are sold as like security cameras where you log into this website and look at your thing. And they're mostly really low, even the ones that you see in public, like look at the panda at the zoo. That's set up the same way. And it's just, you have to know your IP so you can visit the URL.
No, so there's a lot of companies that sell those webcam services, mostly to restaurants and businesses, to have like a webcam of your waiting room to see how much, how long it would be to get a table, stuff like that.
It's all the same stuff. The security stuff, the panda thing, and they're all the same.
But I realized that it was hard to search for when I went and found all the software, because there's a lot of software to like run Apache and then
there's some open source software where the thing is you would just run it as a server and port forward, and then you would have to know your IP of your house, visit it, and then with VLC in a special URL.
Yeah, but no, that's bullshit. I wanted the traditional, you host a website somewhere with HTTP, and embedded in that site is a little video that's
you could just put the link embedded in the site with HTML, if you know that special address for VLC.
Yes, if you have it.
And then you would have like a VLC plugin, and then it would appear on the website.
Yeah, I'm well aware of all those options, but the software that people make to manage the stuff
is
like
really
stuff,
shitty. It's like this software that's pre-installed on your router. It's really shitty.
Really hasn't changed much in the last 15 years.
No, it hasn't. No one cares about that.
Yeah, no one cares.
You don't make money with that
at all. But what's interesting is that I realized the best way to do this is actually just to use Skype, because
how do you do that? Because you need the other end to pick up when you call.
So get this. A lot of people use Skype to be a personal, secure webcam, and it's actually way more secure than a lot of the other ways to do it.
Except for the NSA looking at everything Microsoft wants to show them, which is everything.
Oh yeah, of course. Well, I could use like PGP phone to encrypt the audio going over that connection.
Good job.
Anyway, so what you do is you make a Skype account. You don't give it to anyone. You don't tell anyone it exists. Give it to some really obscure name. And make it contacts with the people you want to be able to view your little webcam. Like, you want them to be able to log in and look at your video occasionally. And then there's an option buried deep in Skype that basically says, automatically answer with video any call that comes in. And then also check the option to only accept calls from people who are contacts with you.
So it's basically, it doesn't matter if someone figures out the obscure name because it ain't picking up.
Yeah, it'll never respond. So I set this up and I tested it, and it works amazingly.
I'm sure it works just fine.
So now I have I have access to
I didn't know about that auto pickup option.
Neither did I.
That's the option.
So now...
so any number of people can call at once, and it'll just keep picking up and making new...
I think if you call while someone else is already called in, either it kicks one of them out or it kicks the other one out.
It doesn't make a group, so suddenly you've got two people attached to each other, like, uh-oh.
I don't think so.
Three-way.
I got to test it a little more. I got to find out, but it works surprisingly well. So now I have a bunny cam to check on the bunnies when we're off at conventions.
I'm sure it works well, but I don't know, technologically, I guess there could be a better option, but
You know what? There are no better options that don't either cost a lot of money and still probably suck because they reek of enterprise software.
I still like the VLC URL method.
Yeah, but VLC's...
The only problem with that is you got to use dynamic DNS or know your house's IP and hope it doesn't change.
Yeah, Skype comes with NAT busting.
That's true.
Also, with
you don't have
that
to know your house's
method, I
IP.
gotta trust the security of the VLC stuff or roll my own authentication.
Oh, you know what you could do,
I
though?
trust Skype's authentication.
Here's a
kind of
way you
okay.
could do it without worrying about your house's NAT busting, right?
Well, I could just do port forwarding and stuff because I know how this
here's a
stuff
better
works.
way to do it, right? The computer that has the VLC running, right? The stream running.
Yep.
You VPN that computer to like your web hosting somewhere that you already have, no matter.
Oh yeah.
And then you just connect to your web host, and there it is. It's like it's running on your web host all the time.
Yep, and you have the VPN originate from home, so even if your dynamic IP from your ISP changes, it'll always reinitiate and still be
Right.
up.
So you VPN to your web host from the Starbucks where you're at, and then it's like the computer in your house with VLC is on your same LAN as you, and then you just type in its address and you're good.
So yeah, you kids who only subscribe to Wednesday anime, manga, comics, Geek
Take
Nights.
that technology, boom.
That's what Monday Geek Nights is like. It's actually pretty cool. You should subscribe to that one too.
The one that we make the least, except Thursday, which you make even less.
I could do some more Thursdays if we just talk more about politics.
I think there might be mentoring next Thursday. We'll see.
We'll figure it out. Like we said, it's the holiday season. There's trouble. So, got any news?
Do I have news? I do, in fact, have news. There's this company that people don't know a lot about, and I didn't know a lot about until recently, called Picturebox. And they're basically a publisher of incredibly niche, artsy-fartsy books, right? So why do we care about this company, Picturebox, and their artsy-fartsy books, besides maybe some of them are cool? Well, some of them were super cool, like crazy weird mangas and shit, including one Tezuka manga. And I ordered it before they went out of business, which is the news that they're going out of business. So you can loot them for 50% off pretty much everything they've got. And some of this stuff is crazy cool, and I kind of want it, but I kind of don't want to spend money on.
Yeah, I also don't want stuff to take up space in my apartment.
Exactly.
I mean, I just took every anime DVD I owned, except for some things that are in crazy efficient box sets, and threw away all the clamshells and art and goodies.
I did that years ago.
Yeah, I finally did it.
Okay.
Good God, that was like 3 garbage bags of crap I got rid of. And now there's one tiny binder.
I saved up a bunch of Amazon boxes, and I'm gonna start mailing stuff to Amazon to sell. So we'll see.
So speaking of companies going out of business, Scott and I relatively recently discovered Rune Factory.
I didn't discover it recently. I played Rune Factory 2. I didn't beat it though.
Oh, see, I'd never played any of those games.
It's Harvest Moon, but also dating and also dungeons.
Yeah, 3 awesome things that on their own can be kind of lame, but together.
Yeah, it's one of those games where it's like, it's not really linear. It's just sort of do whatever, but there's so much to do. It's like, there's always something to do.
Yeah. So, I started playing it. It's pretty fun.
Like
and
Rune Factory 4, you're playing the new one.
Yeah, like the old ones. Yeah, and Neverland, the company that developed it, bankrupt, suspends operations, done.
A lot of people like Rune Factory. Had to go bankrupt.
Japanese video game developer Neverland Co. Limited announced on his website that the company is suspending operations, blah, blah, blah,
I
bankruptcy.
guess they didn't get enough sales. I was helping. I bought it.
According to the Anime News Network, well, remember, they're just the developer. Like, other people own the IP.
Yeah, wasn't it? I'd never heard of Neverland. Like on the box, it says Xseed. What's the deal with that?
That's the publisher.
Okay, so who published? What about Harvest Moon? Who makes that?
I don't remember.
So it's not the same developer for Harvest Moon as it is for.
No, Neverland. Here, I got the Anime News Network article up. So Neverland is also known for Shining Force.
That's a popular game.
Yeah, Lufia.
That's huge.
So you can already see there's kind of a trend of the kinds of games they work on.
Right, but all these games are they're not like super Final Fantasy level, but they're like one step under. These are relatively big games.
Yeah, according to the Anime News Network article here, and I keep saying Anime News Network because I'm just reading from their press release. I did no independent research on this. So, blah, blah, blah. Neverland apologized. So they're a Japanese company, obviously.
We're sorry, there won't be a Rune Factory 5, kids.
The announcement that in recent years the industry had changed, and as a result the company's sales have been sluggish. They added that they had tons of loans that were hard to repay, and they had some sources of funding, but then that all backed out, and they're done.
Well, I know you anime kids also tend to like JRPGs. Those seems to be the most popular.
Yeah, there's like
game
no
genre.
comments on this article. No one seems to care.
Anyway, but Lufia is a really interesting JRPG because even though it's pretty typical, walk around, fight monsters, random encounters, buy loot, equip items, right? It's really interesting because the very beginning of the game, You're basically the ultimate badass is saving the world, like from the get-go. It's like you're already a zillion levels and crazy invincible.
Yeah, you get into a battle, you've got all these powers. You're
right,
like,
you
whoa.
battle like the super boss immediately. And the first time I played it, I was like, this is the best ever. And no leveling up. I'm just going to be a badass the whole time, and it's going to be badasses fighting. And then, as soon as you beat that boss, it gives you your real characters, which are the sons and daughters of the characters you just were. And they're mad weak. And you have to level up and become as strong as your parents, and fuck that. But yeah, it's interesting they let you do that.
Luffy also just, I know a lot of people who outgrew JRPGs, like you do when you have a life and things to do.
And the
with
only
your life.
ones that are still playable are Chrono Trigger and
But
Earthbound.
Lufia has
Golden
such,
Sun.
the people who liked Lufia, you'll know Lufia fans because they have a whole bunch of Lufia swag to this day.
Well, they're also like Lunar.
Yeah, oh my god, Lunar and
Lu.
Lufia. It's like the two L's of this JRPG.
I know a
got
dude
integrated
named Lou.
into my
I know a
life.
dude named Lou who likes Lunar.
I was about to bring Lou up as an example.
Lufia also begins with Lou. I wonder if he likes it.
But Lufia people have the same kind of connection that Lunar people do. And other than Chrono
same
Trigger,
thing with like Breath of Fire people or whatever.
Breath of Fire people really don't deserve to continue to. Those games are bad,
Thousand
guys.
Arms
I'm sorry.
people.
Nobody remembers Thousand Arms. Were there even any sequels to Thousand Arms? I don't even know.
Anyway.
I remember I was amazed when someone explained to me what Thousand Arms was. I'd never conceived of
It's not
mixing.
fun. It's not much different from Rune Factory.
Yeah, exactly. But back then, in like freshman year of RIT, I'd never
Just
conceived
no farming.
of mixing dating game with Final Fantasy.
I wish Rune Factory was also a puzzle game. That would be the best.
Or maybe some mappings, Metroid Odyssey, mix that in.
Ooh. Just
So yeah.
every game at once.
There are only 7 comments on this article on the Anime News Network that went up a while ago. So no one seems to care that this
tells you
company went
something.
bankrupt. And what some of the first posts are, I don't know how to feel. I like this game, but I don't really know anything. There's one guy who knows a shit ton about it. But then there's a comment.
How many fedoras is he wearing?
He knows about it for real, no fedora.
Okay.
Like for real knows about it, talks about who owns the IP. It's a company called Marvelous. He knows the people who work at the company.
Oh, so a different company owns the IP, so someone else could develop Rune Factory 5 easily.
Yes.
Oh, okay, whatever.
So, there's a comment here that's kind of amazing to me. Since I've never owned a Nintendo console,
Then why are you commenting on this?
I've only ever played the once Rune Factory game. But I loved Oceans, blah, blah, blah. We're at a point in the world where there are people who will grow up having never owned or used a Nintendo console and won't be missing much.
Except the entire NES and SNES library.
Does it count as owning an NES if you just use an emulator?
No, but you still gotta play that shit.
Yeah, you can play it, but they'll never own a Nintendo console.
Oh, that's fine.
But anyway, things of the day. So, we're sure that we talked about this on Geeknights probably as a thing of the day at some point in the past.
I'm almost 99% sure.
I am also pretty sure,
But it could have been one of those episodes that was lost.
it also could be that we're just wrong. Like, maybe we just talked about it. Like, I
I'm
don't
so
know.
positive this is already a thing of the day or it's the news or something.
So if you believe that this is a duplicate and you were mad about that, by all means,
please
send
help
us
us
the link.
Help us find the episode where we talked about this already.
So Prince Rupert's Drop. Here, this is a video that explains it. Basically, if you take some glass and melt it and drop it in water, the thing that comes out is actually kind of crazy and awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy and awesome in a way that this video really, really expresses well. That's all. It's science. It's cool. Check it out.
I also have a science thing of day.
Ah.
So, if I take
Copycat.
some water, right, and I have 2 cups of water, and I pour the cups of water together into 1 cup, 2 bodies of water now form 1 body of water.
2 cups, 1 body.
Right. They combine because the water molecules don't know which body of water they belong to, so it all becomes 1 body of water, right? Obvious. What if I take a bar of copper and another bar of copper and I touch them together? Shouldn't the atoms of copper be confused about which bar they belong to? Well, how does they stay apart from each other?
Now, I was wrong. When Scott posed this question to me, I tried to come up
Well,
with some...
you could be right if Feynman is wrong.
Yeah.
Unlikely. Unlikely.
But yeah, I tried to come up with some rationale having to do with adhesion and cohesion.
Right. It's something so obvious, like you don't even think to ask this question, but as soon as someone asks you this question, like why do 2 bars of copper or iron or whatever not just merge together like 2 cups of water, right? And you might think, oh, it's because it's solid, but why not solids, right? Why not? And the answer is incredibly surprising. So I'm just going to link to it. You should read it because it will blow your mind. Like, that much blowing.
Yep. Feynman was good at that.
That's what he does.
Yeah, that's his thing. Yo, did you ever think about this?
Okay.
Okay. In the Meta Moment.
Meta Moment.
The book club book is...
Aidoru.
Yes.
By William Gibson.
It might seem cliched.
Classic.
It started those cliches. Don't give me any crap about this like super cliche cyberpunk setting.
This cliche Shakespeare.
Yeah. 2 young lovers separated.
All right.
Yep.
I've read this story a million times.
Since it's Wednesday, don't forget that we have an ongoing series, Geeknights Presents Shoujo Kakamei Utena, where we're talking at length about the allegory and symbolism and cool things you might not notice.
And the incredibly obvious non-metaphorical parts.
Yes. The car is a metaphor for
straightforward
sex.
Plot as well.
The car is both metaphor for sex and literal sex.
Yes. I'm making videos of games in Netrunner.
Yeah.
People seem to like them, but those are people who like Netrunner.
Otherwise, check us out at MagFest. It's coming up real soon. We're going to be on a bunch of panels. They're going to be panel discussions, so other people will be sitting on these panels with us, and we're just going to be argumentative and jerks like we are every year. So come enjoy the spectacle.
And the concerts.
Yep, we'll be at the
games.
concerts. We'll be doing stuff, hanging out, doing our thing. PAX East is a ways off, but we're going to be at that.
Mm-hmm.
PAX Prime's a ways off. We're going to be at that.
Anime Boston.
Anime Boston's a ways off. We're going to be at that.
Kineticon, you can submit panels.
Kineticon panel submissions have been open for months.
Yeah, take that.
We're going to start
Kineticon's not
scheduling
until
shit.
like July, right? Something
Yeah.
like that. It's a long way away.
Submit your panels, ye all, and read every word in the submission. We've cleaned up a lot of things, so there's no more confusion about who gets a badge and how many badges. But I was promised a badge. It's all sorted out now. Yep. So you can't get badges you're not supposed to get, but you're also going to get a badge if you're supposed to get a badge.
That's right. And you will know if you're supposed to get one or not beforehand.
Yep.
Is there anything else in the meta?
No, not really. Just check out our stuff. Join our awesome forum, which is reinvigorated. And if you want to play some Counter-Strike, I think maybe tomorrow might play a little bit of Counter-Strike in the evening on the official
Thursday?
The official Geeknights Counter-Strike server.
Tomorrow's Thursday?
Yes.
After you're done playing Counter-Strike on the official Geeknights Counter-Strike server at 9 p.m. New York time, you should come to the official Geeknights IRC channel, and in your other window on your computer, open up Yon Salty Bet, so that we can have a chat during the Salty Bet that is not inside the Salty Bet chat, so you can read it.
Yo, dog. Now,
we've been doing this for every Shaker Classic for the past month or so more people showing up would be cool.
Now, perhaps between the salty betting and the counter-striking, you should watch the new Kill La Kill so we can all talk about it in between salty bets.
That's right.
Why aren't there Kill La Kill characters in Salty Bet yet?
Because go make one.
Yeah.
Go do it.
I looked at how to make one of them.
Emily said it would be easy.
Nope.
So, Emily, you do it.
I delved into that documentation. I was like, all right.
Talking like it's so easy.
I never said it was easy.
You should even do the easy character, the sidekick girl, and not the main character.
I'll just do Senketsu. It's just him.
Oh, that's even easier.
Yeah, or the dog. Just the dog.
Oh, Guts.
Guts.
Anyway.
Yeah. So, we, Scott ordered a ridiculous...
Okay, so Crunchyroll does this thing where they're like, it's also the TRSI that does this with Crunchyroll, right? It's basically teamed up. I'm pretty sure the Crunchyroll store is just TRSI. Anyway, they do this thing where it's like, buy a box of mystery manga, like $20, tons of manga, and it's all the shit from the discount rack at the conventions that no one ever buys. And they did the same thing with DVDs, and I said, you know what? This will be on adventure and kind of fun, so I'll do it. I gave him like $25. They sent me a box of like a zillion DVDs. So, of course, I think it was between 99 and 100% Genion and Pioneer DVDs.
This is a treasure. You know what this is? This is a box ready-made to be at an Anime Con dealer's room under the table.
Dude, if you bought a bunch of these boxes, you could just be an Anime Con dealer immediately.
$1.
You wouldn't make any money on them.
$1 silent service.
If I sold them for $1 each, I'd maybe break even, but no, then I had to pay for the table at the convention. Yep. Anyway, and that's only if I sold out. So some of the DVDs in there were good. I got like a random Lane DVD.
Oh.
And I got
not DVD 1.
There
obviously.
were some Lupin DVDs. And there were some random a couple X DVDs. I guess if you want to watch that, XTV. But mostly it's just garbage. One of the DVDs in there was Rumiko Takahashi Anthology, and there's 3 DVDs of that, and I only got 1 or 2 of them, and I don't know which ones. But I also knew that Rim, for some reason, already owned one of the DVDs of that. It may be one that was in the box.
Yep,
It may be the missing one or one I don't have.
I cannot tell or remember.
I'll have to go home and check.
Where I got this thing. I don't know if I bought it at
As far as I know,
Anime
like you
Con.
just always had it. Like it's always been on the DVD shelf.
I know.
Forever.
Like, in fact, if you look at pictures of the old Geek House, like
you'll see it there on the DVD shelf.
Yeah, it's sitting there on that tiny
I do not
DVD
know
rack.
when it appeared or from whence it came.
It's like right next to Horatio. There's some.
You may have bought it at like an early convention for a discount rack.
There's usually a Lensman VHS tape hanging out right nearby.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. So, Rumik Theater, Rumiko Takahashi. Guys, you should know who Rumiko Takahashi is.
Yeah, but you know what? She has not been as popular
Prolific?
as late. It's like she was huge, the biggest deal, and now she sort of faded. Like, what has she done recently?
Well, in
kids today don't know who that is.
In American fandom, she was pretty much only known except
Ranma
among
and Inuyasha.
Yeah.
That's it.
Now, if you were an anime fan who actually paid attention, you probably knew her from Urusei Yatsura first.
Of course.
Or at least you knew her for those 3 things.
But those are like the 3 biggest, right? And then I guess Maison Ikkoku comes in 4th.
I really like Maison Ikkoku.
I know, that's your
In fact,
jam.
I read all of Maison Ikkoku.
Off the shelf by being a manga cow.
Before the-
in media play.
Media play. Talk Walden books.
I remember you reading the last one in media play.
Yep, because it was a long manga series. It took me years. So, Rumik Theater is one of her things because she, if you can say anything about her, I'm not going to say that I'm a huge fan of her work because it gets kind of...
Some of her work I really like. Some of it,
It gets kind of repetitive and samey.
a lot of similarities between the works.
Yep. Inuyasha just goes on and on and on and on and fucking, oh my God. And Ranma starts out just really funny, and as it goes on, it's still funny.
It's sort of the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, I think Ranma peaked in the episode with the bird.
That's the only episode. That's one of the only episodes I've seen. I've seen maybe 5 episodes.
Well, consider yourself privileged because that's
that's the one that Anime
episodes.
Club always showed because it was a Christmas episode technically,
Technically.
and it was like the best ones. Anyway,
Yeah, we'd also show that, oh my God, that Kimigure Orange Road Christmas thing.
I never watched that.
Oh my God. We should review all those old shows. Marmalade Boy, let's do it.
You're all by yourself.
Have you ever seen Marmalade Boy?
If we're gonna do one of those, we should do Kodo-cha first because it's actually funny.
Okay, I could do that.
Go get it.
All right, I'll get it somehow. So yeah, Rumik Theater is a manga that I wanted to say did, but it's actually still going. It's been going for almost as long as I've been alive.
Whoa.
Original run, 1987 through ongoing, volumes 4.
So it's so it's as old as my brother.
But it was animated. Not all of it, obviously, but it was turned into sort of this slice of life, episodic anime thing that a bunch of people got these DVDs of and never watched, and they just seem to be, you'll see them in the bargain bins everywhere, and after all these years, finally decided to watch one, because I've never actually read Rumik Theater. I've read her other stuff.
I've never read it either.
So, we watched one episode of Rumiko Takahashi Anthology, the first one, which is titled...
Well, the DVD is titled...
Primal Desires? Primal, I already forget.
You forget. It's
I already
something like
forgot.
that. But yeah, I don't know what the title of the episode is.
The Tragedy of P.
Oh, there you go. Tragedy of P.
Yeah.
Kidney stones. The end.
So, if I had to say anything about this anime series, ignoring the manga, ignoring any other factor.
About this single episode. We don't know what the other episodes are like.
Extrapolating solely from this one episode, I would say that it is extremely Rumiko Takahashi.
I guess it's named after her. It's Rumik Theater,
But it's got
Rumiko's Theater.
It's got her kind of trademark humor. The character designs are just like straight up her thing. You show anyone who knows anything about anime any still from the show, and they'll be like, "Oh, that's probably Rumiko Takahashi, something."
Or someone who's copying her.
Yeah. And it's just like kind of a slow slice of life that doesn't really have much of a plot.
I think it has a plot. The plot just doesn't resolve.
Yeah.
Right? It's what you have here is it's like a story about the normal, real life, everyday happenings. Nothing really crazy except for the fact that there's a penguin there, but that's not impossible. It's just,
and the penguin is a totally normal penguin. It's not magical.
It's
doesn't
like
talk.
Pen, yeah. From
but dumber than
Evangelion.
Pen. More like a real penguin.
Pen's bigger than P, I think.
Yeah, but Pen's also smarter than P.
That's true. Pen is like iron, basically.
Yeah, Pen's way smart.
Anyway, but yeah, it's just about a family that lives in an apartment complex and like apartment complex drama. Oh my God, you're not allowed to have pets. Oh my God, they have a penguin. Oh my God.
All of this could have been resolved by punching that one lady in the face. She was the problem.
Right. So basically, the conflict is this one lady's a bitch and is actually trying to enforce the pet law, but the pet rule, not law.
And
but
no one cares about it.
No
except
one
these
cares
three other
about
old
it
biddies.
except these old biddies, and it's a typical homeowners association.
But it's a Japanese homeowners association. The Rubik Theater is so Japanese. Like the way the residents of this place, this apartment building, confront each other is the most like passive aggressive, creepy thing you'll ever see.
Yeah.
But
it's so real. That's why it's like, people say slice of life and they focus on the slice. I'm focusing on the life. Like this is true to life, even though it's animated.
Yep, like little touches that you might like. For example, the wife comes home and there's a habitual problem where her son will make a bunch of noise, and then the same bitch lady will come upstairs and in the most passive aggressive manner complain. She'll be like, your son must be really excited today. And you just stand there stone-faced waiting for a response. And then after the apology, she'll be like, she'll apologize in response to the main character's apology.
It's like, I try to tolerate it about 4 out of 5 times.
But sometimes I really just have to come up here. I apologize for that. But so the kids are all in the apartment, and the mother comes home, and the camera just pans down as she sees all the shoes piled up in the entryway, and she's like, "Oh fuck." And that's not something that would happen in like much of America.
So it's a ridiculous situation, and the thing is ridiculous, but it doesn't resolve. It's just sort of like the end.
So to summarize the full plot, this woman, you're
just gonna no need to watch it. We'll just summarize it for you.
Yeah, we'll just summarize it for you because
Okay.
it has a secret of space moment at the end.
It
goes all Free Willy, and then it goes all I don't even know.
I don't even know where it goes.
It goes Cosmos, I guess.
Yeah.
So basically, this old woman is being kicked out of her apartment building because she had a little dog, and the homeowners association found out about it, and they made her leave. And she's like, "It's fine. I love my dogs. I'll just live somewhere else." And then this bitch lady is there, and then we explore the bitch lady's life and how she doesn't want anyone to have pets or be happy. And the reason for this ends up being because she had a pet and she had to give him up because she moved into an apartment building and she followed the rules.
So now she's making sure everyone else follows the rule instead of when she could just be nice.
Yep.
And get rid of the stupid rule, but she's going to be a bitch instead.
And it's actually pretty funny. Like, this is actually enjoyable. I'm not going to say
the scene
it's a
with
bad
the penguin
anime.
in the space is funny.
Okay, well, the other parts too, and we laughed because it's that sort of slice of life humor, like the mom's reactions to this woman and the way characters sort of say, like at one point, the bitch woman's kid is actually really smart, and the mother needs the kid to lie to his mother about the presence of this penguin.
And the kid does because he's good.
The kid totally does, but this is a great scene where the mom is behind the bitch lady, and she's just like frantically gesturing to the kid to lie. And her own son is kind of dumb and doesn't quite get that they're lying. And then the other kid's like, let's just get out of here. Come on. But no, just go. Well, no, I'll tell you later. So then they have this weird discussion about like what it means to be a pet. And then she takes the penguin outside, and then we get like 3 solid minutes of panning shots of galaxies.
Yeah, I think the message I think she's trying to give us with the story is that, look, the rule is there for a reason. It disturbs neighbors, but mostly it's not fair to the pet to make it live in an apartment where it's all cooped up. Look, you set the penguin free. You took it out for a walk. Now look how happy it is. Ah, space. Ah.
But you could take the penguin for a walk and have it live in an apartment. It would be fine. And also the pet that's the big crisis point in the middle of this thing is a cat. Cats are perfectly fine living in houses and apartments.
That's exactly right.
But I cannot express to you the sheer dissonance between what this appears to be about, which is just passive-aggressive lady being extremely passive-aggressive and causing trouble for her neighbors.
And not getting any comeuppance or learning any lessons whatsoever.
Yep. Her plot never resolves. She still is complete. She's like the bad woman in the beginning of The Wizard of Oz who wants to make Toto go away. She even kind of looks like her. Looks like her, acts like her. And even in the end, when they get rid of the penguin anyway, because the owner
comes back. Yeah.
She's like, if you'd still had the penguin the next day, I would have filed a formal complaint.
Go fuck yourself.
I was just waiting for someone to hit her.
Yeah, I don't know why that didn't happen. But yeah, the real thing is here, based on this episode, right? Do you want to watch more Rumiko Takahashi's Anthology?
A little. You know what this show is good for? This is the kind of show that if it was on Crunchyroll, you watch an episode every now and then over dinner.
I think, I definitely think it's definitely on the same level as like folktales and whatnot.
Yeah.
Right? It's just modern-ish folktale.
It's also because it's old and people haven't heard of it, no one's going to watch it. But I think if you put it on Crunchyroll and kind of pushed it the same way you'd push those other kinds of shows.
Maybe it is on Crunchyroll. Go search for it.
I don't know. I pretty much only watch Kill La Kill right now on Crunchyroll.
That's about it, yep.
Until Kill La Kill is done.
And also the biking show, but no one else should watch that unless you really fucking love biking, because it is the most generic anime ever to exist. You should find the generic anime for the thing that you like instead.
But I find, interestingly, that statement about this very episodic slice of life show applies to all of Rumiko Takahashi's anime adaptations.
Period.
I mean, Ranma is really funny. But if you try to watch it in order, like every episode, it's awful. It's the kind of show, it's like The Simpsons, just, oh, hey, it's on. Let's watch an episode. Have we seen every episode up to this point? Who cares?
I guess Inuyasha maybe has to be in order, but really?
No.
It's like they got crystal number 1. All right, let's watch them get crystal number 35. Okay, now
I believe you forget.
Crystal number 10. Now crystal number 1072.
That show was more, they get crystal number 1. There's only one crystal. Yay, we've won. Oops. And then it shatters into like 1 billion crystals.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. You got to watch like the first 2, and then you can watch the episodes in any order. And it's the same way with all these shows. But I think a lot of anime fans who hear about an old famous show like Ranma 1/2 or Urusei Yatsura, they'll try to watch it the way they watch the anime they like today. They'll try to just start on episode 1 and power through it.
Well, I do. Most of the anime that is translated, brought over, marketed heavily, pushed heavily, and become popular, most of those are shows that are serial, regardless of length. It could be a One Piece that's super long or an Attack on Titan that's short, but they're all serials. And the anime, there are plenty of anime that are more like Simpsons, where it's completely episodic and there's a million episodes.
Sazai-san.
Right, but those anime, Detective Conan, right? Those anime tend not to be brought over to the U.S., except I think Lupin is the most of all that was brought over, and that one is also pushed less heavily, right?
Yep.
So, and this is just one of those, though this one is much, much shorter.
Which is interesting because in regular American TV for a long time, there was a huge push to have things that were as episodic as possible.
So you could syndicate them in any order and not give a fuck.
But yet anime fans were kind of a niche market, and they were really focused on the shows that they would just power through.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, I know the hardcore people who will power through a show like Ranma.
Go you?
Yep.
Who has nothing better to do?
Well, I guess if that was
life?
the only anime you had.
Sure.
I mean, I don't know if I would have or not. The only reason I didn't was that it was $40 for one VHS tape of Ranma.
I spent $25 for just a box of his DVDs.
It was $30 if I was willing to watch the dub. This has been Geeknights with Rim and Scott. Special thanks to DJ Pretzel for the opening music, Kat Lee for web design, and Brando K for the logos.
Be sure to visit our website at frontrowcrew.com for show notes, discussion, news, and more.
Remember, Geeknights is not one, but 4 different shows. Sci-Tech Mondays, Gaming Tuesdays, Anime Comic Wednesdays, and Indiscriminate Thursdays.
Geeknights is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 license. Geeknights is recorded live with no studio and no audience. But unlike those other late shows, it's actually recorded at night.
Other
Yeah,
than
BIOS, what's the problem?
So where do you host it? Like, there's a lot of options there. Where do you host it? How do you host
Twitch,
it?
YouTube, whatever.
Yeah, so you can theoretically make a YouTube live event
That never ends.
that never ends. But the practical reality of that, based on my experiences with the Elgato software and the heat that the thing generates over time and everything else, not the best option.
Yep.
And basically, I was looking around because it's hard to search for that. Because if you search for anything related to webcam, you mostly find the software people use to make webcams work, like physical webcams, not to run what you used to call a webcam, which meant a camera pointed at something 24/7 that is on a web page for you to look at.
Well, the thing is, the webcam's like the kind that you're looking for, where it's just anyone can look at it anytime. Most of those are sold as like security cameras where you log into this website and look at your thing. And they're mostly really low, even the ones that you see in public, like look at the panda at the zoo. That's set up the same way. And it's just, you have to know your IP so you can visit the URL.
No, so there's a lot of companies that sell those webcam services, mostly to restaurants and businesses, to have like a webcam of your waiting room to see how much, how long it would be to get a table, stuff like that.
It's all the same stuff. The security stuff, the panda thing, and they're all the same.
But I realized that it was hard to search for when I went and found all the software, because there's a lot of software to like run Apache and then
there's some open source software where the thing is you would just run it as a server and port forward, and then you would have to know your IP of your house, visit it, and then with VLC in a special URL.
Yeah, but no, that's bullshit. I wanted the traditional, you host a website somewhere with HTTP, and embedded in that site is a little video that's
you could just put the link embedded in the site with HTML, if you know that special address for VLC.
Yes, if you have it.
And then you would have like a VLC plugin, and then it would appear on the website.
Yeah, I'm well aware of all those options, but the software that people make to manage the stuff well
is
like
really
the open source stuff,
shitty. It's like this software that's pre-installed on your router. It's really shitty.
Really hasn't changed much in the last 15 years.
No, it hasn't. No one cares about that.
Yeah, no one cares.
You don't make money with that
at all. But what's interesting is that I realized the best way to do this is actually just to use Skype, because
how do you do that? Because you need the other end to pick up when you call.
So get this. A lot of people use Skype to be a personal, secure webcam, and it's actually way more secure than a lot of the other ways to do it.
Except for the NSA looking at everything Microsoft wants to show them, which is everything.
Oh yeah, of course. Well, I could use like PGP phone to encrypt the audio going over that connection.
Good job.
Anyway, so what you do is you make a Skype account. You don't give it. It's Wednesday, December 4th, 2013. I'm Rim.
I'm Scott.
And this is Geeknights. Tonight, Rumiko Takahashi's Primal Needs.
Oh, gosh. You say it that way.
Part of the Rumiko Takahashi Anthology. You might have gotten it in your Gedeon box.
Let's do this.
So I wanted to do something that people don't really do anymore, at least not like hobbyists don't care about it like they used to back in the day. I wanted to make a webcam.
What do you mean make a webcam? You just get a webcam.
No,
like $10.
Yeah, like a 24/7 hosted webcam.
Oh, well, you could just use your Elgato, right? Just hook it up and...
Yeah, I could. So the only way to really do that, to anyone, tell anyone it exists, give it some really obscure name, and make it context with the people you want to be able to view your little webcam. Like, you want them to be able to log in and look at your video occasionally. And then there's an option buried deep in Skype that basically says, automatically answer with video any call that comes in, and then also check the option to only accept calls from people who are contacts with you.
So it's basically, it doesn't matter if someone figures out the obscure name because it ain't picking up.
Yeah, it'll never respond. So I set this up and I tested it, and it works amazingly.
I'm sure it works just fine.
So now I have I have access to
I didn't know
watch.
about that auto pickup option.
Neither did I.
That's the option.
So now...
so any number of people can call at once, and it'll just keep picking up and making new...
I think if you call while someone else is already called in, either it kicks one of them out or it kicks the other one out.
It doesn't make a group, so suddenly you've got